Hey, welcome back to the channel. So I'm putting up a second video today because if you had noticed, I did not post one yesterday. I just wasn't able to get it out or get one done. So I'm making up today by adding a second upload. Hopefully that all works for you. And to do that, I am going to do I Think I Spider by Hugo Bob. Interesting name for the puzzle. And it's an interesting looking puzzle itself. So let's get into the rules and see what we can get out of this one. So we get normal Sudoku rules apply. So every row, column, and 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 each. We've got killer cages. So digits in a cage do not repeat and sum to the clue in the top left corner. So these 3 digits, whatever they are, have to equal up to 9 because that's the digit in the corner. Then we've got Renban. So pink Renban lines contain non-repeating consecutive sets of numbers in any order. So let's say these 3 digits, whatever they are, let's say they're 2, 3, 4. They don't have to be 2, 3, 4 or any order specifically. They just have to be consecutive. And then we got Thermo. So digits on a thermometer must increase from the bulb end. So let's look at this little guy here. Whatever this digit is, this one must be higher than it because the bulb is the lowest of the digits. That applies to all of them. Bulb is lowest, tip is the highest, everything in between is in between. So those are the rules to I Think I Spider by Hugo Bob. Let's get started on it. I guess looking at it, it does kind of look like it could be a spider, so maybe that's why he thinks he could be a spider. Where is a good place to start? Well, first looking at it was seeing these Renbans perfectly aligning with the thermos that they're on. And what does that mean? Well, it means that the thermos have less options because essentially they have to be consecutive thermos. So if this was a 3, this has to be 4, 5. There's no other option. Instead of a normal thermometer, if this was a 3, this could be 7, 9 or something like that. But in this case, that doesn't work. So what does that do for us, if anything? Is there anything in here, let's say, that we can use to help us determine what could be what? Now, is it possible that we don't have a 1 in either of these thermos? Is that a reasonable conjecture or path to start thinking about? If we don't have a 1 in them, do we have to have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Not necessarily. Now, I think these really could be anything. Like you could have anything, just about anything missing. And it will still work in a way. Do our killer cages do much for us? We've got a 9. They're all 9s if you've noticed that. We've got 2 in this middle region. So those add up to 18. And each region has to add up to 45. So that leaves us with still a fairly large amount that we have to get up to. 27 to be exact. I don't know why I didn't say that. What does that do for us? Is there a given digit then that has to be in here? 27 and 4 cells. 9876 is the most you can possibly put, and they equal to 30. 8765, what is that? 26. So we have to have a 9 in here somewhere, which just means that one of these is a 9. The other way to have looked at that is to say we've got these cages are 9, so there's no way a 9 could be in any of the cages. That's not much fun way of thinking about it, though. So one of these is a 9, which means one of these is an 8, essentially. Now, is there any way, can we do anything with this 9 and these two thermos? Because we've got two consecutive 3-cell thermos in the same cage, along with a 9. So I guess what that does mean is that we have no 9s in any of these places, so one of these has to be a 9. Now, if one of those has to be a 9, one of these has to be an 8, and one of these has to be a 7. That's something to look at. And then if we know that one of them has to be 987, can we rule out one of these being a 1? Because you'd have 1, 2, 3. So if you have 1, 2, 3, and 7, 8, 9 already taken, all that leaves is 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6 clearly don't add up to 9. So what that tells us is we do not have a 1, 2, 3 situation on any of these. There has to be a 1 in that 9 cell. Now, is it possible that 2, 3, 4 situation, which would mean that we have 1, 5, and 6 left over, which is, again, a no. So there has to be a 2 in here. So if we know we have a 1 and a 2, we know we have to have 1, 2, and 6. So we've got 7, 8, 9, and we're going to have 3, 4, 5. That's what the end result is. So these are 3 and 7. These are 4 and 8. These are, what did I say, 5 and 9. Let's get rid of these other markings because we don't need them. So that's a little something. So maybe now we can start looking at these thermos because they're a little bit reduced. Now, we know we have to have 2 sets of 3 that cannot use 5 and 9. Well, if we can't use 5 and 9, we must use a 6, 7, 8 at some point in one of these. Because if we didn't use a 6, 7, 8, we'd have to get 2 sets of 3 out of 1, 2, 3, and 4, which doesn't work. So this can't have a 6 in it. Now, that also tells us we can't have a 1, 2, 3 on the other side, whatever it might be. Because if we did, we would destroy this one in terms of not having any possible solution. So we know one side is 6, 7, 8. The other side has to be from 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we've ruled out 1, 2, 3. So the 1, 2, 3 trip, so it has to be 2, 3, 4. So there we go. So this is 2, 6. We're going to get a 1 here, by the way. And get rid of these ones. This has to be 3, 7. And this has to be 4, 8. Okay. Let me put my phone on vibrate because I forgot to do so. Don't know if you guys heard that go off a minute ago. Now, what more can we use out of that? So we know there's no 1s in any of these, which means there's no 1s in any of those. There's also no 1s in any of these, so there has to be a 1 in one of these. Now, if we know there's a 1 in one of these, there has to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 in one of the two. So those are not necessarily givens, but those are, one of them has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, can we do anything with this 9? Because it kind of has some things now that it can't be. It has to be made of 2 consecutive digits, which is probably what we should have seen at the very beginning, which would have been an obvious answer here. But going back to what I've already discovered, we can't use 1, 2, or 6. So the only way to make this 9 with 2 consecutive digits is 4, 5. Like I said, that was a fairly obvious item that I just didn't see off the bat. So what does that leave here now? Well, we can't use 1 or 2 anymore. We can't use 4 or 5 anymore. We can't use 6. So these have to be 7, 8, 9. So this has to be 7. This has to be 8. This has to be 9. This has to be a 2 to make our 9, which removes the option of a 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And now we're going to start moving. And that probably took a little bit longer than it should have because I didn't see the obviousness of that, which gives us 3, 4, and 5. Now, these we know have to be from 6, 7, and 8. So this is 6, nope, wrong one, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And these couple of digits left are going to be all givens, which is wonderful. This has to be 1, which means this has to be 2. This has to be 3. These two have to be from 5 and 6, it looks like. Fine. Is there anything else that we've now determined? Not necessarily. So we could look back at these and say we've got a 1, 2, 3. It can't be here. And we also have a 5, 6, 7. So this is 1, 2, 3. This is 5, 6, and 7. Did we have any of these digits that are looking up here yet? No, we do not. What else do we have? How about these guys? So we have to have something from 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to have something from 7, 8, and 9. Now, it can't be 3, 4, 5, because then we'd ruin this. So this one of them has to be 2, 3, 4. And the other one has to be 7, 8, 9. So let's see if these correlate to anything. No, they don't at the moment. It doesn't look like. But what that does mean is this is the 5 and this is the 4. Now that we've determined that, what else, or where is the next move? So this is either a 1 or a 3. Nothing there yet, okay. What other clues do we have? Is there maybe a Sudoku, something that we can do real quick? Doesn't really look like it off top. So maybe we just need to stick with the logic that we've been using at the moment. I'm going to do a quick scan here just to make sure. No, nothing really great there. Okay. So let's find our next area of attack. We've got these two guys here. What determination can we make from those? If anything at the moment. Well, let's look at these real quick. Well, let's look at the 9 clue because it's sitting in front of me and I just noticed it was sitting there again. We've already got a 4 here, so this has to be 5, and this has to be 6. Now, this has to be 6, it can't go up to 7, so it has to be 5. And this there is either 4 or 6. We don't quite know which one yet. So now we've got 1, 2, 3. So this can never be 4. Can't be 5, so it has to at least be 6, but it can't be 6 or 7, so this is 8, which means this is 9. Can we do something similar here? This can't be 1, 2. It could be 3 to make a 3, 4. It can't be 4 because that would make a 4, 5. Obviously, it can't be 6, 7, or 8. So it does have to be the 3, which makes that a 3, that a 4, which makes that a 1. And now we can break these down. This is 7, 6, and 8. This is 2, 3, and 4. That's going to give me a 6 over here, which that did also anyway. Now we've got a couple of digits that can be put into these. We need to have 8 and 9. So this is 8 and this is 9. These have to be from 4 and 7. So that's 4, that's 7. That's looking down here now. So I broke something. Awesome. Let's go back and make sure, or figure out what the heck it is that I did. Thought it was going along swimmingly, but apparently not. maybe I did something wrong on these guys. Let's just take a look. No worries. You make mistakes. It happens. As long as we find them and correct them, it is okay. So let's look back at this region now again. Could this ever be a 4? Oh, I did make a stupid thing here. I was thinking consecutives. It was getting in my mind since all of these other ones are consecutive. These are not consecutive, so that's where I made my mistake. So good thing I caught it fairly quickly, and you guys didn't have to yell too much at me. You can still do that in the comments section. It's okay. It doesn't bother me one bit when you show me where I screwed up. So now, do we have anything in these we can actually do? We know we have to have from 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we can remove our 9 and our 4 from here. Now we know these are not 7 or 6. I don't think that's going to do much for us, so I probably don't want to really continue down that path. It's too much notation for me. Okay, let's get back to some sort of reality here. We've used all of our 9 clues. We've used most of our Renbans. We've got some things we need to clean up here. Can we clean those up? And where would be the best place to do it? Always take a quick look at the rules. Make sure you haven't messed something else up. No? Okay, can we determine these 2, or one of these 2, or even one of these 2? Does it somehow make an impact in here? Probably does. Let's see if we can find it. If we were to go with a 2, 3, 4 on either side, it would force, well, if we did it on this side, it would force a 1 in here, because we clearly couldn't put a 1 on this Renban, and then this one sees it all. But that probably doesn't, it doesn't do anything on this side, so it's not super helpful. If it was a 2, 3, 4, these could be pretty much anything. I think the same's going to go over here, so that might not help me too much. Let's look again real quick at our Sudoku. Feel like it should be, I mean, one of these has to be a 1. We know one of these doesn't have a 1 on it. We just don't know which one it is yet. And is that of any use? Could this be a 3? Yes. We know none of these are, but let's go back to marking this as to what it really can be. It can't be 1, it can't be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4. It cannot be 5, 6, or 7. So therefore it could also be 8. That's not too useful. It's probably going to be the same kind of non-usefulness over here, because this could be 4 or 8. Can't be 1, 2, 3, can't be 5, can't be 6 or 7. Now, I was hoping the 9s would have done something, because there's slightly less places around here that they can be, but it doesn't appear to really be helping us yet at the moment. What can these tips be? Well, can't be 5, so it could be 6, 7, 8, or 9. That stinks. This one could be a lot of things, really. Well, 4, 8, and 9, I guess, are really what those options are. Do we have any kind of anything seeing each other here? Maybe I'm missing. A lot of 4s going up through these things, but now we have to try to remember not to mess up these in terms of they're not sitting on a thermo, so they're not given any order. Can we ever have a 1 on here? Can we? If we had a 1, it would have to be, Well, we couldn't have a 1 because we can't ever have a 3 on it. That's what I've been should have been looking at. Now I see it. If we ever have a 1 on this Renban, we have to have a 1, 2, 3 in any order whatsoever. We've got 2 3s looking at all of them. So there is no 1 on this line. And the 1 is pointing to here. This one is pointing here, so none of these can be 1. So this is 1. Okay. Now, none of these can be 1. Can we have a 1 here in one of these two? I think in this instance we can. Because we could put, if we had a 1, we'd have to have 1, 2, 3. The 2 would have to go up here, the 3 would have to go up here, and the 1 would go up here. Does that break it? It does, doesn't it? That's interesting. Because of this right here. So let me just write it out. So if we said we had a 1 on here, we have to have 1, 2, 3. The 2 sees both of them, so this would have to be a 2. Now the 3 sees that one, so the 3 would have to go here, and then we'd have to put the 1 up here. So we've got a 1, 3 pair looking at a 1, 3. So that doesn't work. So we can't have a 1 on there either, so this has to be a 1, which gives us a 1. Okay. No 1s in any of these, so these must be. No 1s in any of those, so these must be. So that was kind of interesting. Without actually delving into that, I wouldn't have ever seen that. So our 1s are more or less taken care of at the moment. Can we do anything further? Can we do anything with a 2? I'm not sure we can. But I wasn't sure we could do anything with a 1, so what does that tell us? Can we have a 2 on this Renban? Let's look at that. If we did, it would have to be here. And it would have to be a 3, 4, which means this would be 3 and this would be 4. I don't see any issue there. These would be 8 and 9. And they would offset, so we'd have 8 there, 9 there, 8, 7, 7, 6. So that doesn't appear like it would be a problem. If we didn't have a 2 on it, it could be any of these, so that's not super useful. Is there any way we can rule out a 9, let's say, since we figured out a way to rule out some 1s? If we had 9s now in anything, like here, it would be a 9, 8, 7. You'd have to put the 7 here, the 8 and the 9 somewhere up here. I don't see a reason why that wouldn't work. You cannot put a 9 on this one, though, because it'd have to be 9, 8, 7. You've got 2 7s looking at it. So there's no 9s in any of those, which means one of these is a 9. Which means there's a 9 in one of these 3. There's a 9 in one of these 3, and there's a 9 up here, so there's no 9s in any of those. Means one of these 2 has to be a 9, because it's a 9 looking at it, at this cell. Can we go further? Now, we know there also can't be an 8 on this, because if there's an 8, it's either 9, 8, 7. We said we can't have a 9, no matter what, and if there was an 8 on it, you'd have to have 8, 7, 6, and we've already said that we can't have 7 on it. So there has to be an 8. There isn't an 8 on that line. There's no 8s in here, so there has to be an 8 here. There we go. That's what I was trying to find. And there's probably an easier way to go about that I didn't see. So now, we've got, I'm wondering if I could have done something with a 2 in here. Because if I, no, because I already have a 2 down there, so that wouldn't make any sense. Okay, no problem. Now this 4 does see this. So we've got 9, 8, 7, and we've got 2, 3, and 4, and that gives us our 9. Okay, now we're back to moving. This no longer can be an 8, so it has to be a 4. That's got to be 6. This can't be 8. or 6 anymore. We're looking over here. This can't be 4. And what else do we have? Okay, so what are these 3 digits? Well, they have to be from 3, 5, and 6. This can't be 3. So there has to be a 3 on this Renban. And so there has to be a 4 as well. Because either, we can't have a 1. So it's either, let's just mark it so it's clear. We have to have a 3 because this column says so. If it has a 3 on it, it's either 2, 3, 4, or it's 3, 4, 5. We can never have a 6. So this, we either have a 2, 3, 4 situation. If we put a 2 here, we'd have a 3, 5. That doesn't work. So it has to be 3, 4, 5. This is the only place that doesn't have. This is the only place a 4 can go. The other thing I just stated that could have just as easily used was we can't have a 6 because then we'd have 6, 5, 4, and you never have a 3 on here. So different ways to get to different things. This has to be, what, 2 and 9? So that gives me our 6 and our 2. That 3 gives us our 5 and our 3, which we can just clean that up. And now I think we're rolling. These 2 digits have to be from 5 and 7. Well, we've got 5s and 7s. Looking at this, so this is 7 and this is 5. Now, these 3 digits are 6, 8, and 9. 6 and 9 are looking at this one, so that has to be 8. This has to be either 6 or 9. Let's put those in. It could still be 6, 7, 8, or it could be 7, 8, 9. I don't, at the moment, see where we can make that determination. These 2 digits now have to be 1 and 2. We've got a 2 looking at this one, so this is 1, this is 2. It's going to finish our 1s. That 5 sees this 6 that I already had pencil marked in, so let's put that in. And we are moving. Again, good. We need to put a 4 in this row somewhere. This one and this one say it has to go here. We have to put a 7. That 7 says it has to go here. And we have to put a 5, so that 5 has to go there. 2 here, as I see now, shows our pencil marks. These 2 have to be 5 and 8. We've got a 5, so this is 8 and 5. What have we ruled out here? This has to be 8, so this has to be 9. That 9 gives me my 7. We don't have, yes we do. So we've got a 6 and a 9 left over for these. We see a 9 here, so this is 6 and 9 and 6. And coincidentally, this turned out to be a consecutive Renban, which it didn't have to be, but it is. So this is 3. These 2 are from 8 and 9. We've got our 8 and 9s over here, so 8, 9. And we've got our last 2 digits to post, which will make this quite easy to put in 4 and 3. And there we go, you solved the puzzle. Little mix up there towards the beginning, but caught it quickly enough. Hopefully you didn't make the same mistakes I did. But like I said, if you made a mistake, just no worries, backtrack until you figure out what you did wrong, and then fix it. Easy enough. So anyway, excellent puzzle. Like I said, took me a second longer than it probably should have because I just went down an erroneous path, but thank you, Hugo Bob, for making this one. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Hope you guys did too, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.